The Garden Report is brought to you by FanDuel, the exclusive wagering partner of the CLNS Media Network.
Hey, Brian Manning here. Welcome to the Garden Report. A blowout. Not a super interesting game on the floor, but off the floor, it was nice again to see Aaron Nesmith come back, the former Celtic draft pick.
Definitely.
Off a 26-point game against the Cavaliers a couple days ago, one of the better games of his career so far. And overall growth, looks stronger. 3-point shots there for him early on this year. Played well in this game as well. And of course, we got to talk to him pregame, where he responded to a tweet from about a year ago when the Celtics traded him that
People don't forget.
He continued to use as motivation.
As soon as the trade happened, I saw the tweet and I saved it immediately. I'm someone that, I do take things personally, and I think that helps make me better. It's what drives me to go to the gym at night. So seeing that tweet was always on my mind for sure.
Did you print that out and put it on your fridge or anything?
No, I saved it in my favorite. So, sometimes if I'm having a good day or something, I open up the photos and it's in there. Just, makes me want to go to the gym. Yeah, so.
I think that was kind of was it a rando for that one? Or was that a tweet from someone random? Or was
it was a Bleacher Report.
Was it Bleacher Report?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So when you see something like that from a major outlet, does it feel differently than if some random fan?
No, yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Because if it's everybody's entitled to their own opinions, but when legitimate source or whatever tweets it, definitely holds more weight.
FanDuel is the exclusive wagering partner of the CLNS Media Network. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
Well, first off, the tweet was kind of funny.
It was, but when it comes from the Bleacher
SpongeBob
Report,
meme's always good.
Right. I mean, they always hit, but when it comes from the Bleacher Report, it stings a little more, right? Especially if you're a player and obviously, going through a difficult time, right? Once you're traded, especially a young player, you're not quite sure if you're going to fit in. You're wondering, is this my last chance, So I'm glad he kind of kept that, which I'm sure was motivation, especially the way he put it, days when he was feeling good and it's not going to, turn his mood. I think that's the kind of guy who's going to use that stuff as motivation. And I'm happy for Nesmith, to be honest with you. We talk a lot about those late first-round picks that the Danny Ainge made and, throughout the last 5-6 years that didn't all stick. I mean, you think about even guys like Grant Williams, who was using the trade to get other pieces. And Nesmith is one of those guys as well who I think has a future in the NBA, will play in this league for a long time, but obviously it just didn't work out here. And, I thought what Rick Carlisle said was spot on. The kind of guy who's going to put forth the effort, try to adapt, and never quit. I mean, that's your reward. Right? Obviously, the success, but also you get that contract. You have that commitment that this organization sees you as a part of their future. So I'm super happy for him, man. Good for Aaron.
Nesmith signs that rookie extension to stay with the Pacers long term, said he was grateful for that, and seems comfortable in his own skin now. Yeah. A little bit of uncertainty and just anxiety, especially the way he started his career with COVID. There were no workouts. There was a very abbreviated training camp to start that year. So he came into the league in a weird way too. Joe Mazzulla, who worked with both of them here actually, is their summer league coach, compared their situations. Both just extended. Both, he said, in situations where many players could have cracked and ended up out of the league. Yeah. Now with situations long term. And one thing I heard about Pritchard too, and I don't know if this applies to Nesmith per se, but I have to imagine it does. This contract, maybe it's not $100 million, but it's 4 years guaranteed in the NBA.
Right.
And the way it was going for him in Boston, you weren't sure if he was going to hang on in this league.
Right, and it's tough because you look at, obviously, the all-NBA wings that the Celtics have now and where they were in their career. Those were very important developmental years, right? Especially when you think about, like you said, the season that ended in the bubble, that congested, 6-week off-season. There was a ton of injuries, and that some of that stuff affected Nesmith for sure. And especially when you're put into a situation where you get these short stints, and if you don't perform, you're yanked, and there's no leeway, right? This is a team that clearly, had a chance to go to the NBA Finals. They made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and it's a tough spot for him. It really was. But granted, that second opportunity, he made the most of it, and this is clearly a great home for him. And what a fortunate place to land when you think about Rick Carlisle and who how long he's been coaching in the NBA and talking about spending time with his family during the offseason, back-to-back summers. I mean, all that stuff shows that not only are you a type of player that they believe in, but they also like the person you are. And sometimes that means whole lot more for someone like Nesmith, who, let's face it, a couple of years ago wasn't quite sure if he had a future in the NBA.
Yeah, 9 points, 4 and 9 in this one. Had to go up against those old teammates of his, Brandon.
Yeah, he
Tatum,
had a
which
couple
was
of
a
flashbacks,
challenge.
man. Like, again, these are all NBA forwards, compared to what a rookie Nesmith. That wasn't necessarily the case. Now they've grown to who they are, and Jalen and Tatum reminded him a few times.
Yeah.
One-on-one, for sure.
And it worked out for both teams. He gets to play with the freedom there. You talked
Yeah.
about that a little bit.
Right.
A big part of an up-and-coming team. So that's great for him. And then the Celtics, of course, turned him into Brogdon, who won sixth man for them. And then Drew Holiday through the next trade. That is a big part of this 4-0 start.
Right.
We talked about that in our last video here on Pacers Celtics. Last word here. Tonight on this one, CLNS Media Celtics All Access has been the Garden Report for Josue Pavone. I'm Bobby Manning. We're on the Brooklyn. We'll see you there Saturday for Celtics Nets.
HelloFresh makes it really, really, really easy to make sure that you're maintaining and eating real food as opposed to just reaching into the cupboard and grabbing whatever you can on the go. And it's terrific. And again, if you don't have the time to shop and to do all of the prep work, HelloFresh is the way to go. Go to HelloFresh.com/CLNS50. That's HelloFresh.com/CLNS50. Use the code CLNS50. 50% off plus free shipping. It's a really good deal. Once again, America's #1 meal kit.